I want to start with Jimmy Kimmel, who went on the podcast of comedian Sarah Silverman and said a bunch of crazy, okay, including, I'll just give you this one for flavor. He's yet another leftist who's thinking about fleeing America. So afraid is he of Trump.
And I did get Italian citizenship.
You do? That's amazing.
I do have that. And what's going on is as bad as you thought it was going to be.
Way worse.
It's so much.
Jimmy Kimmel strolls onto his stage like time froze somewhere around 2005. Cue cards in hand, forced grin locked in, jokes flying with all the impact of a foam dodgeball. But this night isn't routine. Megyn Kelly doesn't arrive as a polite guest. She storms in like a solo wrecking crew. No brakes, no filter, metaphorical flamethrower blazing. What follows isn't late-night comedy. It's a demolition derby. Kimmel's buckled into the car, Kelly's driving the bulldozer, and the audience is left wondering if Jimmy signed up for this fight, or just wandered into it blindfolded.
Because we look to Jimmy Kimmel to figure out insights into how Donald Trump is thinking. The absurdity of this. I would say go, but I love Italy too much to say that. They don't deserve this. I'm sorry, but he should go to Ireland. They do deserve this. They're as woke as they come. My people, who are like among the toughest people on earth, or were, have gone completely woke. But, you know, I'm Irish and Italian, so I have empathy. And he should not go to Italy. It's too beautiful a country to host Jimmy Kimmel. And why would they have given him citizenship to begin with? But in any event, he should go. He should definitely leave. But he won't. He's just saying that to get plaudits from fellow leftists.
For years, Kimmel's played Hollywood's favorite jester. Soft jokes for celebrities, smug shots at flyover country, and absolute devotion to his sacred cue cards. He's polished, predictable, and fully convinced the crowd is there to admire him, not challenge him. Then Megyn Kelly enters the picture. Suddenly the jokes don't just fall flat, they ricochet. Every punchline swings back around and smacks Jimmy square in the face with one unmistakable message. Reality has entered the room.
When I was on the primetime of Fox and you were on the primetime of CNN, a couple of hours after our shows ended, late night comics would come on, and they occasionally would make us laugh, Piers. I mean, occasionally they understood that they were in the game of making everyone laugh. As you know, they've abandoned that game now, and they're just political operatives out there. Colbert, Kimmel, Seth Meyers, who I struggle to even mention that guy's name. He's such an absolute...
Kelly doesn't show up with zingers. She shows up with evidence. Receipts stacked so high they need filing cabinets. And the irony is impossible to miss. Kimmel didn't start out as Hollywood's moral referee. Roll the tape back to the Man Show, beer chugging, edgy jokes, material that today would trigger a cancellation countdown. Fast forward to now and suddenly he's the high priest of woke comedy. Right. Totally believable.
Never leave his very lucrative but loser of a show on ABC's late night. He's not going to abandon that because feeling important and like he matters is too important to Jimmy Kimmel. But he's got to get stroked by leftists by saying he's gotten Italian citizenship, and he may indeed exercise it by leaving a United States that even Donald Trump must feel has gone too far. Okay, not our guy for insights on Trump's thinking.
Watching Jimmy Kimmel now is like seeing the class clown transform into the hall monitor overnight, still holding the whoopee cushion while lecturing everyone else. The guy who built his career pushing boundaries now scolds America like a late-night therapist reading from a script. If hypocrisy had its own time slot, it would look a lot like Kimmel's show. And Megyn Kelly spotted that contradiction instantly.
Words for them, Piers?
Just get over yourselves. Honestly, it's so pathetic watching grown men weep, because actually the real reason they're weeping, they know they've spent years over-demonizing Trump as the new Hitler, and he's going to wreck everything and wreck America. He's terrible, he's a fascist, he's a neo-Nazi, blah, 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 blah. And what happened this week? America, having already seen Trump as president for 4 years, and seen 4 years of what then followed under Biden and Harris, they went out in record numbers, white, black, Latino, men, women, all demographics, and they voted for apparently...
Kelly's track record speaks for itself. Fox News, NBC, and now a self-built media powerhouse. She doesn't tiptoe into controversy. She charges straight through it. Unlike Jimmy, she doesn't need canned laughter or blinking applause signs to feel relevant. When she goes after someone, it's not a playful jab, it's surgical, loud, and unforgiving. So when Kimmel took a swing at her, he didn't poke the bear. He handed himself the grenade and pulled the pin.
Donald Trump took a shot at Taylor Swift. Trump was making fun of the fact that she got booed openly at the Super Bowl and he got cheered to the high heavens. And Jimmy Kimmel didn't much like that and had the following to say.
At the game, he got a big thrill because some of the crowd booed Taylor Swift.
Okay. By the way, I was there all the way through and she was gone. She was missing in action for most of the second half. So I don't know what he's talking about. Trump left at his previously designated time, which was, I think, 8:02. That had been scheduled, and that is when he left. And it's a little harder, Jimmy, when you're the president of the United States, because if you leave when everybody else is leaving, you completely F them over because no one can move anywhere. It's total gridlock.
Things really escalated when Kimmel rushed to defend Taylor Swift after Donald Trump mocked the fact that she was openly booed at the Super Bowl, while Trump himself was cheered. Kimmel claimed Trump only stayed briefly and exaggerated the moment. But eyewitness accounts told a different story. Swift was barely visible for much of the second half, and Trump left exactly when his schedule required. And here's the part Jimmy skipped. When a former president leaves a packed stadium, timing isn't optional. Leaving with the crowd would lock the entire city into gridlock. But that context doesn't fit a monologue, so it got cut.
Can't stand him. The best thing I can say about Jimmy Kimmel is that he's friends with Adam Carolla, who's a truly decent, honorable, great guy. But Kimmel doesn't strike me that way. But Fallon is not a bad guy. Fallon is a sweetheart. But Fallon's shtick is completely empty and has lost all sense of entertainment. I take him out of the three of them any day of the week. But Fallon's programming, forgive me, it's not smart. In no way is it...
Hollywood rushed to circle the wagons. Kelly was irrelevant, they said. Funny thing, irrelevant people don't dominate timelines for days. They don't ignite battles across X, Instagram, and TikTok simultaneously. The real issue. Kimmel's ratings are slipping. Late-night TV isn't dying, it's already embalmed, dressed up, and waiting for burial. Why? Because the jokes stopped being funny. These shows turned into smug lectures with a few punchlines stapled on for decoration.
This past 2 weeks, they had the Kennedy Center honors the other night where Joe Biden couldn't say Dionne Warwick. He kept calling her Diane, and he didn't know who Barry Gibb was. He kept calling him Billy. You know who else was honored? At the Kennedy Center. You know who else? Billy Crystal. Just FYI, do you know who once opened up the Academy Awards in full blackface?
Oh,
Billy Crystal. Billy Crystal. And do you know who's going to be hosting the Academy Awards this year? Jimmy Kimmel. Do you know who's worn blackface repeatedly and spoken inner city sort of urban accent saying she needs to darn those socks?
Kelly doesn't rely on laugh tracks, network logos, or writer rooms recycling the same punchlines. She speaks directly to her audience, and millions listen because they know it's actually her voice. Not a staffer. Not a teleprompter. That's why this clash felt different. Kimmel represents a fading format propped up by studio lights and habit. Kelly represents raw commentary and an internet that doesn't need permission to go viral. One had cue cards. The other had Wi-Fi.
In the overall, meaning all viewers, 1.5 million. In the key demo, 236,000. Tucker would have been embarrassed to pull that on any night he was on the Fox News channel. That's what they're getting now. Tucker's numbers were 3 times what Jimmy Kimmel gets. And Tucker's little basement video that he did from clearly like his cabin that he broadcast out of Maine in literally has 21 million views. Okay? 21 million views. Whereas, as I point out, on ABC, a massive network that comes into your home for free that you have to make no effort to find, at best, Jimmy Kimmel can get 1.5 million. He needs to have a little self-perspective before going out there and hurling these insults because
the fallout was ruthless. Kimmel tried to brush it off, but the internet never forgets. Clips of Kelly calling out his contradictions exploded online. Suddenly Jimmy wasn't trending for a joke, he was the joke. The PR spin collapsed instantly. Fans rushed to defend him, but their excuses were thinner than a Hollywood detox cleanse. It's just comedy, they said. Except Kelly wasn't laughing at the joke. She was laughing at the hypocrisy wrapped in a tailored suit.
all know what they saw. They saw what we saw. They saw the frail elderly man who needed help getting off the stage. They're just too chicken shit to tell us about it because they accurately deduce that he could still be the Democratic nominee and they don't want to ding him up. Maybe you give Barbara a pass. Who gives a damn what this singer saw or says? But you know what? Jimmy Kimmel happens to be employed by ABC, which happens to have a rather large news organization. And he has been one of President Trump's most vocal critics. Where are you, Jimmy? On vacation?
Here's the real punchline. Comedy is supposed to punch up, not preach sideways. Somewhere along the way, Jimmy stopped being a comedian and turned into a lecture hall with commercial breaks. Kelly said the quiet part out loud. Late night isn't funny anymore. It's self-righteous monologues with applause baked in. And the internet loved her for saying what everyone already knew. Comedy didn't evolve. It softened.
Monday morning show with Stephanopoulos into the evening Academy Awards broadcast with Kimmel and ABC elevating, the blackface lovin' Kimmel. They at the same time fired Chris Harrison, host of The Bachelor, for trying to defend one contestant on The Bachelorette for saying, gee, I know I went to this antebellum party, a couple years ago. I guess I didn't see anything wrong with it. And all he said was, are we judging her by today's standards or are we judging her by, old standards, whatever. He was basically trying.
Kimmel, once the master roaster, became the roast. Kelly turned him into the face of everything wrong with late-night TV, stale, smug, and running on autopilot. He tried to move on, firing new jokes at new targets. But every monologue carried the shadow of that takedown. He wasn't just criticized, he was meme-ified. And memes don't disappear. They haunt.
Lakshmi. She, for some reason, decided to leave the kitchen and to get up in my grill back in 2018 on NBC, and she lectured me that caricaturing another race perpetuates the dehumanization of people of color. And she did go on Jimmy Kimmel.
Political show, cultural show, and it allows me to artistically with entertainment say what I want to say. Well, show rather than say what I would say if I got on my...
So I'm sure in the next bit, she must have gone after Kimmel for his long history of misogyny and race
controversy about whether you ketchup or no ketchup.
Well, where do you stand on the ketchup on the pasta?
And here's the final irony. Jimmy Kimmel, the professional comedian, was left scrambling for words. Megyn Kelly, the journalist, became the unexpected comic force. She didn't need punchlines. She just made Jimmy the punchline. The message landed loud and clear. Hollywood's machine doesn't decide relevance anymore. Kimmel had the network. Kelly had authenticity. And in 2025, authenticity wins every time. When the dust settles, one person is still reading jokes off cue cards, while the other is shaping the conversation everyone's actually watching.